Story 1. People believe that breaking up is a failure, rather than accepting that the purpose of dating is to gauge compatibility, not to force it. Story 2. The tendency to stay in a relationship while secretly maintaining dating profiles, just in case something better comes along. Story 3. Date formats should either proceed from smallest to largest or largest to smallest. It is illogical to arrange them in a middle smallest biggest order and expect people to accept it as reasonable. Story 4. How normalized it is to be sleeping with multiple people until you have the "are we exclusive?" conversation. Story 5. The way that people rush into everything. Sorry, I don't want to have sex with you after our third date. A kiss I can manage, but full-on sex? No way. Story 6. People leave their partners over the most fixable issues. All these broken individuals are dating each other and expecting perfection. Story 7. I dislike that people don't even try. If you were going to date someone, shouldn't it be with the hope of living your life with them? Additionally, breaking up over an argument or issues. There are certainly circumstances where breaking up is necessary, but to hurt is to grow, and both partners can grow together if they put in enough effort. To a healthy extent, of course. Toxic relationships are not what I am referring to in this context. Furthermore, using the term "icks" seems to diminish the fun of relationships, making them feel solely focused on physical intimacy. Story 8. The obsession with standing out and being hyperspecific to each person in order to get a response, especially on dating applications, is overwhelming. I don't know how many different ways I can greet someone uniquely without sounding insane or disrespectful. Story 9. What I hate most is that intimacy is treated like it means nothing. You go on a few dates, laugh, open up, share real closeness, kiss, cuddle, and have sex, and then suddenly you are ghosted or met with vague uncertainty. I'm not 100% sure, they say, and instead of talking it through, they just fade out. Yes, it was only 5 dates, but how much can you really know someone in that short time? Isn't that precisely why you should talk about doubts instead of quietly retreating? I find it exhausting that people treat discomfort like a full stop instead of something to explore. It's as if today's connections have an expiration date unless everything feels perfect right away. Story 10. I am 5 feet 11 inches tall. Men often tell me I must be taller because they are 6 feet or 6 feet 1 inch and claim I am taller than them. However, I am 5 feet 11 inches. My brother is 6 feet and he is taller than me. I am not trying to argue about height, but I am aware of my height. I don't understand the anger I receive from men who insist that I must be 6 feet 2 inches or 6 feet 3 inches. Story 11. You can never feel secure. They are only focused on you, especially when it comes to women. All the men I have dated seem excited to be with me, yet they are secretly looking for something better. Story 12. It feels like shopping from a catalog. Height, weight, age, hair color, eye color, and more. If you don't fit someone's criteria, you are disregarded. There is no more meeting in person and socializing. I miss those days. Story 13. Social media seems to encourage many people to seek relationships primarily for the sake of sharing content. They may not be genuinely interested in the person or the love aspect of the relationship. Rather, they enjoy posting relationship-related content on their Instagram or TikTok. Story 14. I can tell you about myself. When I was dating from 2012 to 2020, I saw constant breakups, patch-ups, and rebounds happening all around me. I followed these situations and ended up traumatized. I took a break from dating for a year and a half, 18 months. Then someone found me. I have been faithful and loving, and we respect each other on moral grounds. Story 15. Everything feels exhausting, and I feel like I missed the last helicopter out of Vietnam. I have tried everything from online dating to singles events to speed dating, going out on my own, and having friends set me up. I even blocked someone for asking for personal information. It's a nightmare. I've been on some nice dates, but the connection just isn't there in person. It's frustrating. Story 16. Women don't want to be approached, but they also do not want to do the approaching. Dating applications are the most dehumanizing thing in the world. They turn people into objects to be examined as if searching for the best steak at the grocery store. Story 17. I don't like dating apps. I think I was just lucky to find my current boyfriend on one. They felt overwhelming and not genuine, and there were often inappropriate people as well. Story 18. Ghosting and discussing sexual topics during a chemistry check can be problematic. To address ghosting, I make an effort to communicate when I'm not interested and provide a respectful explanation. Story 19. Not receiving the effort put in. This situation is supposed to be a two-way street, not window shopping where I am just an object on display. Story 20. Rosters allow for always having a backup person. Why lead on 10 girls and choose the one you like the most? If they don't choose you, you select options B or C from the list. What happened to committing to the one you are genuinely attracted to? Story 21. It only takes one mistake for someone to decide not to continue dating you. Additionally, you have to handle everything, such as deciding where to go, buying lunch, and asking them out. Story 22. People who don't love themselves often try to draw you in to feel a false sense of self-worth, and then disappear once their needs are met. Story 23. It's difficult where I live, so I don't really care for it anymore. Feels very mechanical, with no motivation to meet up with others. There is so much variety that people become spoiled, caring more about collecting contacts rather than actually meeting. Many are too focused on continual upgrades and are never satisfied with what they have, staying on the apps for years. I joined for a month but got bored and decided to quit. Story 24. On the apps, too many people don't care to actually read your profile. I'm not talking about bots or scammers. I mean real people who just message you or like your profile without reading anything. I thought the stereotype of the people who do that was just horny 22-year-old men, but I'm a straight man in my early 30s who is only looking for something long-term and doesn't want kids. This is all clearly stated on my profile. I still get women who want something casual reaching out. I still get parents reaching out. I still get individuals who aspire to be parents reaching out. Most dating profiles are less than 50 words. Please make an effort. Story 25. Everyone thinks it was better before online dating. It wasn't. I'm in my 40s. I dated before social media and online dating, and it was terrible. Online dating provides a far larger pool of people who are likely looking to date. I met my late wife on Tinder, and I met the woman I am currently dating on Hinge. Being ignored by women in bars wasn't enjoyable. Hoping to run into your soulmate at the grocery store is unrealistic. Many of you romanticize a serendipitous encounter because it sounds fun. You can still engage in traditional dating. No one is stopping you. Once you meet someone great for you, you don't care how you met. You are just happy that you met. The worst person I ever dated was introduced to me by a mutual friend, so maybe that's not always the best approach. Story 26. You are not allowed to be unattached to someone. Saying sorry, you are not my type is no longer acceptable. If there is a trait you do not like, you are considered a horrible person, close-minded, and a bigot. I'm sure you are a nice person. I'm just not into blondes, so I need to be shamed and all my friends should disown me because I do not want to go out with you. Story 27. I have only started dating again in the last 3 years. Recently, I took some time to think about what I'm looking for. Most of all, I find it strange how astrology and its contrived signs and signals have entered the dating scene. If I do A, it clearly and only means I am B. Oh, you don't think so? You're obviously wrong. But convince me. No, you're wrong. I understand a certain amount of caution, but this feels like people imitating the Sherlock archetype. It is very cool on television, but in real life, it's unrealistic, often incorrect, and rude no matter what the popular influencer tells you. Please stop treating listicles as science just because they use the term, along with memes and reflexive statements that only sound clever and profound. Please engage with me about us instead of at me because this is about you. Honorable mention. I do not appreciate people who set terms and demands that they would not accept if applied to them. I can agree that you deserve to be treated well, as long as I am shown the same consideration. Don't demand communication or deep conversations if you have nothing of your own to contribute beyond judgments or monosyllables. I've encountered a number of women who have threatened me by saying they have options who would cater to them. Sure, I understand it, but I also have dignity. I am not entertainment on demand. I have my own life and responsibilities outside of you, particularly early on. I also recognize that you likely do as well, which is why I won't constantly reach out to you. This does not imply a lack of interest. I have received a surprising number of compliments for showing up to a date clean. It bothers me that this has become a surprise for women. This may sound bitter. The truth is that because of how many people I meet who fit the description above and worse, I'm getting better at noticing and appreciating the individuals who don't. I believe that anyone of quality is doing the same. Recently, someone made me laugh so hard by cleverly combining something she knew with something I said that I cried and had to sit down. Conversely, I recently disagreed with something another person said about a minor issue, and she accused me of calling her stupid and ignorant, which I could not see. Guess whom I am more impressed by and willing to invest more time and effort in? Story 28. I dislike how, in many modern movies, a couple's first kiss immediately leads to sex. For example, in Emily the Criminal, she sleeps with him after all he does is help her get ice cubes from her own fridge. This leads to real-life expectations for men that they will receive sex after doing even the smallest favor. Story 29. The uncertainty of talking stages, situationships, and casual dating is frustrating. Just let me know if you're my boyfriend or girlfriend and whether I should be upset if you're dating other people. It's really not that hard. Story 30. How normalized cheating is. Obviously, it is not something new, and it has been going on for literal centuries. It feels as though it has become a rite of passage in a relationship these days. Story 31. Many people virtue signal on the internet about ghosting. I have been dating for 10.5 years and have received numerous breakup messages from individuals I wasn't dating, where I wish they would have just ghosted. I have even been broken up with by people I was dating and wished they would have ghosted. I don't understand why people are so obsessed with being rejected. Personally, I would prefer to hear only from those who want to spend time with me. Story 32. The way everyone is always in my business about it is frustrating. As if my dating life is the most interesting thing about me. It's not. It's not even in the top 3. Please leave me alone and let me handle my own matters. Story 33. Too many relationship and dating podcasts create confusion, causing people's minds to become overwhelmed. When individuals are engaged in conversations or on dates, they often lose their true selves. Instead, they focus solely on predetermined talking points. The sense of discovery and authentic interaction is diminished, as their perspectives are limited to what they have heard on these podcasts. Everything is categorized as red flags, green flags, or beige flags. It becomes a competition between women's empowerment and men's empowerment, rather than a journey of mutual exploration. There is a pressure to impress each other within a short time frame, leading to overanalysis of every statement. People desire connection with the opposite sex while simultaneously harboring disdain for them. This creates a toxic environment. Story 34. Many people have not realized that dating apps are among the biggest scams of the century. Story 35. The fact that I need to share my personal resume with you. How about we talk? Let's learn about each other and see if we're compatible beyond our mutual interests. Story 36. The need for instant gratification. Dating apps are being treated like food delivery services these days. People seem to think that just because you matched on an app and confirmed mutual attraction, they are entitled to your body. Being asked to have sex after exchanging fewer than 10 messages becomes tiresome, and the reactions people have to being turned down, simply because I do not want to share my body with a stranger, are absurd. Story 37. I have always disliked how online dating works. I have matched with many people and gotten along well with them. However, the transition from a dating app to a phone call or first date is, in my experience, more challenging than getting the match itself. Story 38. Having to read the sentences 5'5" because apparently that matters, and the last time I was someone's type, I was donating blood hundreds of times just to find someone who might be nice to get a drink with. Story 39. Age differences are often viewed as taboo, regardless of the number of years involved. It may be concerning if a 25-year-old is dating an 18-year-old, especially if they knew each other before, but a relationship between a 22-year-old and a 26-year-old is generally acceptable. Similarly, a 30-year-old dating a 25-year-old is also considered fine. Some people seem to equate any age difference with grooming. If both individuals met as adults, the age gap typically should not be an issue. However, I have observed pushback against even a 1-year age difference. Story 40. The obsession with height is noticeable. I am not actively dating, so this is not a projection, but I have several friends and acquaintances who meet all the criteria according to their profiles but are rejected because they are not tall enough. Perhaps it is because I settled down very early in life, but I don't remember the dating scene being like this, especially regarding something people cannot control, like height. It's strange. Story 41. Everything feels so temporary these days. Nobody seems to be in it for the long haul. A friend I spoke with about dating describes it as disposability, and I think that's a great term for it. Someone else mentioned transactional, and I believe that is also an excellent summary of the problem. It just seems like no one wants to try and stick it out. They are so overstimulated that the second a relationship becomes a little difficult or worse, boring, they cheat or run away. Everyone has a roster these days. All my single friends are talking to at least 3 men, and some are talking to as many as 30. Everyone is only interested in the short term and the easy option. Every man I talk to wants to have sex right away. I don't know. It just feels like romance is dead. Story 42. I have to take the initiative and do everything for a group of people who often express their dislike for me. I am considering deleting the apps and seeking out community instead. It seems healthier. Dating apps feel like a form of self-sabotage. Story 43. I want to know where I can go to approach someone. Where do singles go now? Story 44. How time-consuming it is. You text for a while, then meet in person and have to find new things to chat about. After that, you text every day until the second date. Rinse and repeat for the third date or until you get bored. It kills the build-up and anticipation with monotony. You get bored before you even get to a deeper connection. Story 45. They are solely focused on intimacy. While it is important, it is not the only aspect that contributes to a relationship. Relationships have depth, which is something that intimacy alone cannot fulfill. Story 46. Social media addiction is so widespread that I feel like I'm the odd one for not having an Instagram or TikTok account. I remember talking with a girl who referenced a TikTok. After discussing it, I mentioned that I didn't have an account, and the conversation dried up faster than a puddle in the desert. Other women I've heard from genuinely said it's a subtle red flag if a guy doesn't have a social media presence and might be hiding something. That's really toxic. No thanks. Story 47. Expecting to magically click during the first meeting rather than someone's nice. Let's see what develops. Very few people know they're one upon the first meeting. Story 48. I don't know why someone would suddenly write me off. I could show up dressed like James Bond and speak smoothly all night without cursing, being a gentleman, but it might be that one girl who prefers a boozing drunk, which I am naturally. Or I could show up and be myself and she would want James Bond. The sad thing is that this could be the same woman who is so confused about what she wants that she will find one tiny flaw in me and use that as a reason not to move forward. This has been known for centuries. There are books about it. Men and women have not changed. Technology and advanced civilization will never alter the fact that men are simple and women are complex. Story 49. Sometimes I just want to have a fun time with a partner without the expectation of intimacy by the end. Story 50. Promiscuity. Every time I talk to a woman, she eventually reveals that she has a history of promiscuity. I find it repugnant. Story 51. I don't know what to call it other than selfishness driven by sexual desires. I'm a straightforward person and have never been into casual hookups. In my experience, men have often not accepted this and will still attempt to manipulate you to get what they want. Younger me fell for it often, and due to mental health issues, those scenarios would always send me spiraling, so I learned to look out for the signs and avoid them. Still, I don't know why people can't just be honest about what they want and find somebody who wants the same thing. I saw a video recently of a woman suggesting that men who want casual sex with no commitment should just find a woman who's on the same page. and he was arguing in defense of manipulation tactics to simply sleep with whom he wants regardless of what she wants. It was disturbing. I want to add the disclaimer that it's likely the scenario occurs with the genders swapped as well, as in same-sex relationships, but as a straight woman I can only speak to my own experience. Story 52. There is no effort or time required. Why do that when there might be better, more appealing, and easier options available? Story 53. As someone who appreciates a slow burn and does not partake in hookup culture, there is no room for that in modern dating. There is an expectation that if we do not feel a spark in the hour-long conversation we are about to have, we will never speak again. Story 54. Dishonesty. People say they want something casual when they want something serious, and vice versa. Just be honest. I'm sure you'll still find someone willing to engage with you. Story 55. As an older person who hasn't dated in decades, I feel sorry for you younger individuals. The internet has ruined many things, and this seems to be one of them. Story 56. I understand that dating can be challenging these days. What I don't like about it is the sense of disposability, where many people feel they have so many options that they can just try something and discard it if it doesn't suit them. I'm glad to be married now, as I don't believe that kind of dating works for me. Story 57. In my personal experience, I have been ghosted, rejected, stalked, and ditched in the past few months while entering the dating world. I believe it reflects more on the other person than on me. Hurt people tend to hurt others. I am working on being an emotionally stable person, but many individuals are not putting in that effort. It is true what they say. If you do not love yourself, how can you genuinely love someone else? Story 58. Often, interactions are based on swiping left and right, which feels transactional and lacks the opportunity to get to know someone. Story 59. The number of people with personality flaws who believe it is everyone else's fault is concerning. Don't match, then don't talk. I will take 4 days to reply, and it will be with one word. Say something interesting. I have nothing on my profile, but the responsibility is on you to initiate a conversation. No cheaters. I am still very bitter and shouldn't be dating yet. The list goes on. Were people always this difficult? Story 60. Not explicitly stating if a hangout is a date can be confusing. I would prefer someone to be upfront about their intentions. When someone asks me to catch up, I expect a casual hangout, not a full-on flirting and kissing session. Story 61. How fake and transactional it feels. There is too much emphasis on image and not enough on real connection and growth. I believe social media has diminished a lot of the authenticity. Story 62. It feels like an interview where I'm constantly walking on eggshells. If I make the slightest mistake, that's it for me, and they move on to the next candidate. Story 63. Valuables you own become the determinant in dating culture. If you don't own an iPhone, I won't date you is a ridiculous criterion. Story 64. How easy is it for people to stop talking after a date rather than give it another chance to at least be friends? Also, unsolicited explicit images. Story 65. You have to be perfect or else you're someone's last choice and never their first. I find it disturbing that I was self-shaming for being judgmental because people were so cruel to me while growing up. It seems like being kind was not enough for me. Being perceived as damaged feels like a sentence to loneliness or an on and off cycle with ex-partners for the rest of your life. It's better to be alone than to endure the constant criticism for things beyond your control. I'm not dating currently because when I tell people I have heart disease, they see me as a burden or someone who might drop dead. It's strange to me considering I broke my neck while looking at a blind man who unfortunately could not see me. Story 66. Easy swipe culture, having too many choices, and not valuing someone's time or effort contribute to a casual mindset about everything. This results in treating people like options rather than individuals. The list goes on. Story 67. I dislike how common ghosting has become in today's dating world, especially in the early stages of getting to know one another. Would it be too much to ask for the other person to say, "Sorry, I don't think this will work"? Story 68. I rarely get past step 1. I often have girls give me their numbers, but they never respond. I also deal with getting ghosted mid-conversation or being canceled constantly. Story 69. In online dating, it's a numbers game. I was on a paid app, and my friends told me I was doing it wrong by not liking hundreds of profiles and sending dozens of messages each day. For me, if I found a profile that inspired me to send a message, that's it. She's worthwhile. I'll message her and wait to see if she responds, keeping the app closed until I hear back or decide to give up. In the 1990s, if you were in a bar or club and shot your shot only to end up empty-handed, chances are everyone saw you, so you were out of luck for the night. No one wants to feel like a second choice. Story 70. Everyone seems exhausted and detached from it all. Once, the initial stages of getting to know someone new were fun. The anticipation and excitement of where it might go and seeing new sides of each other were thrilling. Nowadays, many people appear incredibly antisocial, embracing a mindset of hyper-individualism where they want everything on their own terms. They treat dating as a chore. Many individuals desire a relationship but do not want to invest in building one. It feels as if they view others as mere cogs in their life machine rather than nurturing and caring for a meaningful bond. Story 71. Love bombing initially and then essentially friend-zoning you. You showed interest first, and now you don't want me? Story 72. I don't use dating applications, and I feel discouraged because I meet women who do. It seems like having several men lined up has become a lifestyle for them. It's me versus the many guys with picture-perfect profiles in their direct messages. It's not that I'm not appealing, but if you're always shopping, I might not look very attractive. There's always someone better around the corner. The challenge for me is meeting someone who is focused on their life like I am and organically encountering new people to explore natural connections. I simply want something natural to happen, but I feel like I am always in tense competition with an invisible army. I am around 40 years old, so it's much worse for younger generations than it is for me. It probably feels impossible for many of them. There are still a few people my age who don't want to use dating apps and prefer to find connections organically. There's nothing wrong with using dating applications, but it's hard to tell when someone is using them just to find the one versus keeping the app installed indefinitely to keep an eye out, just in case. Story 73. Texting for days or weeks before you finally meet in person can make the in-real-life meeting feel awkward and forced after having all the getting-to-know-you conversations online. Story 74. Men wanting to be pursued. Expecting constant communication via text, video calls, or social media. Whatever happened to waiting 3 days to call? Story 75. So far, I've ended relationships with several people because we were incompatible. Those I used to call friends criticized my choices because they chose to stay with unsuitable partners. I have felt a lot of guilt about leaving people, and the dating pool is generally unsatisfactory. Regarding dating apps, I've received a significant number of matches. I had 1,404 days once, and I live in a small state. However, you don't truly know who you're meeting online, and it can feel bland to say, "Oh, we met on a dating app," instead of, "Well, we bumped into each other at the market, and the rest is history." Many of the men I've encountered on these apps have turned out to be quite odd. One wanted to have inappropriate relations with his own mother, another hid his other dating app on his phone, and another had unsettling fantasies. As others have noted, it all feels transactional. Dating apps make it seem like you're shopping for a partner. If you're incompatible with someone, you shouldn't be judged for ending things. We've come too far for that, especially considering our grandparents had to endure terrible relationships. I've noticed that many people lack essential life skills, experience, and ambition, all of which are needed for a successful life. A significant portion of the time I spent with some individuals was a waste. Story 76. I am not currently in the dating pool, but I believe the worst aspect of modern dating culture in the United States, which I would argue has evolved over decades, is that it is every person for themselves. Story 77. I dislike how dating has become a performance. What was supposed to be a ritual for mutual tuning and alignment has turned into a checklist we follow. 6 feet tall, a six-pack, a stable job, and normal, whatever that means. Instead of emotional intimacy, we adhere to a rubric for when to increase physical closeness. First dates cannot be too deep. They have to be fun and light. Third spaces have largely disappeared since the COVID-19 pandemic. People have either completely withdrawn from dating or engaged in superficial connections on apps filled with bots and mostly men. Story 78. After reading these comments, I wonder why arranged marriages are not more widely practiced in the West. Arranged marriages are based on choice, giving both parties the option to continue or not. It is not forced, despite what you may have seen in The Simpsons. This is how the majority of the world gets married. I believe the Western world is the only place where it is not normalized, leading to various problems. Story 79. I have a list. Bear with me though. Sneaky behavior. Friends who cheat on each other. Not giving flowers on the first date. Having sex on the first date. Not waiting until marriage. Looking at someone strangely or questioning why they would want to wait until marriage. Shallow dislikes. Casual dating. Friends with benefits. Talking stage. 3-month rule. Nonchalant behavior or playing hard to get. Not knowing how to have a real conversation. Unwanted pictures. Physical touch as an excuse to be sexually intimate. No trust, having a close friend of the opposite gender. Fighting the girl when your boyfriend cheated. Wanting communication but not taking advice or changing behavior. Rebounds. Dating when you know you are not over one person or ready to date. Saying you wouldn't date someone from your own race. Saying you wouldn't date a whole race. When the guy doesn't take the lead. When someone brings their boyfriend to an all-girls night and expects him to pay without asking him first. It's fine if he is. Just let him know as a heads up if he's paying for everyone. Choosing your partner over your children. Bringing your significant other everywhere or not being able to be away from them. It's obsessive. Controlling behavior. Don't text too fast. Don't text too slow. Don't text first. If you have to ask, they probably don't like you. If they wanted to, they would. I understand what some mean, but I stand by what I said. You don't have to be loyal in the talking stage. Roster. Incompetence. Being friends with your ex. I want to say it's not about trust, but I would be lying. Bare minimum. There's probably more. But this is all I can think of off the top of my head. Genuinely though, what is wrong with us? This is just sad. Story 80. Having expectations about a woman's appearance is objectifying and taboo, yet women are encouraged to have fixed expectations regarding the appearance of men. Do you not believe me? Ask a woman on a dating app about her body measurements and observe her reaction. She may be completely disgusted, even if she previously asked for your height with the intention of leaving if you don't meet her criteria. Then, they complain about how difficult dating is and that their standards are low, while people often feel pity for them. Story 81. We need to bring back arranged marriage. These applications make it too difficult to connect with like-minded people. Story 82. This notion that dating and relationships should always serve you, that they should be easy without fighting or trials, is misguided. If a relationship isn't always pleasing, the tendency to move on can lead to failure. Story 83. I dislike how everyone is ghosting each other now. You go on a nice date and then there's no reply. It's quite rude. And don't get me started on the whole situationship concept. Why can't people just commit or let you go? Story 84. How people insert politics into dating. People should be able to have a difference of opinion and still connect with one another. Story 85. Ladies can sometimes be delusional, feeling proud of shaming men for their bodies, finances, or anything else they can think of. However, if a man expresses he won't date women based on their weight or size, they are often shocked and in disbelief at how harsh men can be. You can see this on social media, where they rant and support each other. I often wish I had been born in the 1950s, a time when social media didn't exist and society had less room for delusions. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.